Zenless Zone Zero is the latest gacha game by MiHoYo, the same people that made Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Both games I have little to no knowledge about because I haven't played them, though I have friends who played them a lot. I got bored and seen the game release and I thought, why not give it a shot? Now the games I normally play are mostly RPGs, JRPGs, and zombie-related games. So from your Final Fantasies, to your Tales of series, to your Personas, and your Fallouts. From your classic Call of Duty Zombies, to your Dead Rising, to your Dead Island, just to give you an idea. Back in the day, I would constantly grind XP for days, farming up levels or materials just to better enhance my party's skills. Oh, there's a hard boss ahead of me? Well, I'm a bit under-leveled, what can I do? Oh! What a convenience. A nice patch of enemies I can easily kill 1,000 times to get some easy XP. What a coincidence. Might take me a few hours, maybe a day if I want to really make sure I get there, but it'll do. But this was a new zone for me. Get it? Because Zenless Zone Zero, new zone. I'm not funny. Anyway, with what I know about gacha games, is well, they're mostly money grabbers. Not in the kind of cheap mobile game kind of way where they just want you to put your money in, but it's more of a flashier and more serviceable way, if you catch my drift. Waifus and husbandos. Give them those complex spiffy outfits, certain quirks, give them some cool weapons, and you got yourself an infinite resource for infinite gacha cash. Because they never stop. They will never end, they will continue to exist and just duplicate like cellular structure to the DNA. Like this one looks kind of cute. Hey, that one's kind of a baddie, I'm not gonna lie. That one looks very suave, and that one has cat ears and, oh, they even have a bear! Christ, they have everything! Now, gathering resources is literally slower than a week in jail. Especially with the limited energy you can get. Seriously, one lousy cup of coffee? You long-nosed nozzle kettlehead. I'll tell you when I've had enough coffee, you cuphead reject. Like, obtaining materials for your agents or engine tests is alright. You just need a bit of good extra luck. That's the game. Especially with specific discs or their specific attributes. Like, you're trying to balance out the right highlighted attributes per character and what you want to focus on primarily. Such as their element, their attack, their energy, the whole shebang. You know what I mean. When it comes to getting your daily draws, you know, obtaining the chance to get a possible agent or new engine, that kind of thing. Getting Polychrome, that's the real kicker, because getting one draw requires 160 for one tape. Now getting Polychrome is a chore in its own right. Barely getting enough for one pull. But again, that's when they expect you to put your money where your Polychrome is and dump it. Not only that, but pray to the gacha gods that you actually get the agent or engine you want. Which apparently from a couple of my friends who play Genshin and Honkai, getting pulls in those games is more tasking. I can't speak on that myself, but that's what they told me. From playing Zenless for a good number of months now, I can say now with confidence that I absolutely hate gacha games. And so does my wallet. With the very limited currency you get on your own, with the very limited energy you're allowed, it really makes it difficult to actually progress in levels. Not completely impossible to progress, but it will take longer than expected. In a typical grind sesh for materials or levels, it can take you maybe an hour or two in advance highly, but here, it can take a good number of days for a basic grind sesh. Like, there's slow grind, then there's this. I played a lot of RPGs with tons of grinding, but this is madness. Like, I'm not trying to say, oh, just give me all the items and materials in my lap, yes. Like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, don't make it easy, but just make it more accessible and more grindable. I know that's not really the aim of the game, but for me personally, I'm just sitting there going, oh my god, I just want to grind my stuff, but that didn't sound right. Pause. Big fat pause, please. I just want to be able to actually acquire stuff in an easy fashion of like, oh no, beating enemies, having more chances to attack and grind stuff, you know, have more accessibility to that. Not easier, but just accessible, more accessible. But again, I know I'm kind of in the wrong field here because these are gacha games, so it's not going to be too easy, but yet it's not going to be that difficult. It'll be sparing, but yet it's manageable, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to get the amount I need, you know? Like a typical grind in RPGs. You get where I'm coming from? It's like, I need that. To best describe it, it's like false freedom. It's like putting your dog on a leash in the back garden. Like, yeah, technically he can run around, but sadly the leash doesn't fully allow the dog to fully run around freely, because the dog's still restrained. You get what I mean? Like, yeah, you can get resources and Polychrome. Oh, what's wrong, boy? You can't get a decent grind for resources and materials? Well, you just need to wait till tomorrow then, and then repeat. Who's good boy? You want the waifus? You want Jane? You think she's a baddie? You think she's a baddie? Well, you go get the Polychrome. Get the Polychrome. But I get the aim of the game. Well, for the creators, is to get players to splash out as much cash. So making you barely get enough resources, and if you really need it, you pay for a first class trip to Polesville. Also, the game is constantly updating with new chapters, new characters, and new events to keep you playing the game. Which I believe is called live service, where a game is constantly updating, providing new content to keep you playing the game, keeping people invested in the game. Like, when the game needs you to constantly jump in to get your daily resources, which can be annoying to me personally. Nothing against the game, but it's just I am an oldie, you know? I like things traditional in terms of games, you know? Yeah, back in my day, we didn't have live service, we just had offline service. Because I want to play the game when I want to play it, to get my materials myself and not rely on a daily checkup. It almost feels like a chore more than an activity, with their limited banners and such, which last a while, yes, but the resources on being able to pull them are not as much as I'd hope. Now, this may be a hot take, but I am not a fan of live service, because I'd rather a game release with its full contents upon release. Because having it constantly adding new stuff month by month to a game seems a bit needy. Kind of like an attention-seeking child. Hey, look at me! I got this new stuff since last time! Hey, don't forget these new events! Hey, notice me! I'd rather have everything in the game, and if they want to add DLC later on after the main content, that's fine, but hey, that's just my thoughts on live service. I just want my games to be complete. I hope that's not a controversial take. But I do get that the game is free, so I get the hustle. I'm just an oldie who likes it classical. Now, with my complaints, I don't hate the game. Yeah, it makes it weird saying that after what I just said before, but hear me out. But the actual game itself is a lot of fun. Like, the animated cutscenes are really a highlight for the character expressions and how they're well animated. Very well, may I add. It can be an action-packed spectacle and a comedically cartoony and entertaining kind of sequence as well. I gotta give animators props for their work. I mean, you really see the characters' personalities, like, you know, shine through the animation of their movements. It just feels really nice, and I kind of like the style. In terms of combat, the team mechanics and various dynamics you can create depending on your stats that can complement each other's effects are kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. Especially swapping out mid-attacks and prioritizing your team attacks, specials, and ultimates. I think that's pretty cool. I know some people complained about the minigame TV segments, you know, when you're playing during the Hollow Zeros. I personally don't really care. I mean, I don't mind the minigame challenges you get in the Hollow Zero. I mean, you can modify the challenges a bit, make it a bit more difficult. You know, just get more rewards. As long as I'm slaying ether mutants, I could care less. And I also like the fact that you can actually interact with your teammates outside of battle, so you can go to cinemas with them, or go to the cafe, the arcade, or go to certain events in particular to their, you know, city or their particular interests. And I think that's a really cool idea, just to get to know your characters more. And in fact, it's very beneficial with the whole trust dynamic, because if you get enough trust, you can earn some bonus materials, certain options, or even in the minigames, if you got your certain teammates with a strong enough trust, they can give you some little benefits, like extra damage or extra healing. So that's pretty sweet. I wish we could see more of those times together with them. Hell, why not just go the whole dating simulator route, you know? Zenless dating simulator. Why not? I can see that getting some money. All the characters have nice, unique looking designs, from their outfits to specific weapons of choice. With a wide variety of weapons, from the dual wielding guns, your mech legs, to a bow and arrow, drill gauntlets, I don't know what to call that, and a freaking chainsaw scythe? Now you've got my attention. I mean, for a long time, back during like the release, well, not the exact release date, but like 2 or 3 months afterwards, I was a Corrin main. I still am, technically. I like her scythe and her cutesy maid outfit. She does a ton of damage. She's a little beefcake with teeth. She just absolutely shreds and just dissolves anything. My god, I love her. If I had to pick a certain faction, I would have to go with the Victoria housekeeping. I like the whole royal manor aesthetic and the agents' designs. Corrin, like I said, and secondly is Ellen. A starking contrast from each other, I know. One's a shy maid with a deadly chainsaw scythe, and the other is a narcoleptic shark girl with an overly large sized piece of gardening shears. And a sweet tooth. Who I missed out on due to, well, not knowing that Ellen was on a limited time on the store. And well, I didn't want to constantly jump into a game every day. I was still new to the whole gacha concept, so I let her slip away. And I regret it ever since. Hopefully she comes back soon. Out of all the characters so far I've been using as a team, it's Corrin, Jane, and recently Yanagi together as a team, or Miyabi, Jane, and Yanagi. For the enemy designs, I'm more interested in the ether mutants. especially with the marionettes or the dead-end butcher, just for the unique abilities and various designs they have. The other enemy groups are fine, don't get me wrong, they're all great, but I just like the whole mutated enemy approach, giving you more playroom with how to create the creatures, giving you more playroom with the creative mold of mutants. But with the newest updates they've been releasing as I'm writing this, they've been generous with the Polychrome rewards and resources for future upgrades, and I am getting more into the game. So into the game, Jesus Christ. So if you're up for a decent ARPG and don't mind paying for a few pulls to get some lovely waifus and husbandos, then I would highly recommend you give it a shot and see what you think. If I were to add anything or hope in the future, I think it'd be cool if you could customize your agent's weapons, like maybe different variety of weapons in a specific class. So for Corin, for example, you can give her different kind of chainsaw size, or for example for Billy, he would have different kind of pistols available, and they can have different colors or bonus effects, so depending on their stats and stuff, you know, like a typical RPG. But hey, I might be speaking too early. Maybe even some new outfits, like exclusive, or just new outfits to give them. Maybe stuff from their past, or relating to their interests, or even relating to specific events in the game. That kind of thing, I think that'd be kind of neat. But be careful, as many people have spent a concerning amount of money, real money, on pulls in the game. In fact, a good portion of this genre is known for this sort of reputation. So if you're easily tempted into gambling, or in case waifu gambling, I would not advise playing the game. So, how much have you put into the game? You know, not a lot. What, like 20, 50 pound? I wish. There's a reason I've got Jane and her engine so easily. Also Miyabi. And her engine. Same with Caesar. And Bernice. Oh lord, how much? Anyway, what's your thoughts on Zenless Zero? Is it better than the previous titles? Do we see some improvements? Do you agree with my points I've said, or do you disagree? Either one's fine. After all, this has been Drew, those are my views, and I bid you adieu.